we would do home visits, or when we go check up on kids that were on probation, I've gone into homes where, we go to show up to check on the kids, and the parents are in the living room, doing drugs, and the little baby is running, diapers full of feces and stuff, and drugs everywhere, and the kid, the older kid that we're there to check, he's in a room, high or on drugs as well. Just seeing, kind of those environments. I've gone into homes where you can't even walk because there's so much stuff everywhere. And we do searches, and a lot of times, a lot of the homes that we go into, because of the kids that we work with, aren't, they're not going to be your typical middle-class homes where, the house is clean and the maid is there, cleaning and answering the door for you. It's a lot different. But just, kind of being in that situation where you go into a home and you see some of the things that you normally won't see on a day-to-day basis, kind of makes you almost appreciate what you have. There's times when I would go into, we would work nights, and we would show up to do searches, and we do see certain things like that where the kids are kind of fending for themselves because their parents are there and they don't have any food in their fridge, or they're not being taken care of, the kids are sick. That kind of made me gonna go home and just kind of give my kids a hug, like, oh my God, you think you have it bad, type of thing. But it's situations like that where you come in contact, they might not be the best, environments that you almost kind of open your eyes. And a lot of times we don't see that because we don't come in contact with that so frequently. But when you do it, you realize that there are kids that, don't have food every day, don't take a shower, they don't have clean clothes every day. So, you kind of almost appreciate what you have, because there's, there are situations where kids are less fortunate. So I grew up in the area, so a lot of the gang members a lot of them were my friends, because I grew up with them. And a lot of times, you run into them after you kind of don't associate with them for a while, because of going to school and having a family, and then, doing the work that I was doing. A lot of them were really standoffish and didn't want to talk to me because they're going to say, oh, if we tell you something, you're going to arrest us, or you're going to run to the cops, or you're going to snitch on us. But, I did see quite a few friends that, eventually got disassociated from the gangs, and a lot of them did it because they had families. That was the way that they saw that they can kind of disassociate and not hang out as much with their, homies or gang member friends. And a lot of the ones that I did talk to, now that they're grown men and not kids anymore, they really do regret doing what they did, because, I always say, if you always do what you do, you always have what you got, So if you're always, selling drugs, doing bad things, you're always going to have bad things. You're never going to succeed, and you're not going to amount to anything. But if you're always trying to better yourself, you eventually will, regardless if it's easy or hard. I mean, just in my situation, it took me probably 20 years to finish school, but I'm exaggerating, but it seemed like it because, it was hard. You have a family, and, they become your priority. What makes you happy? I mean, and I know it sounds kind of corny or whatever, cliche, but, don't do what others do. I mean, and hang around people that are going to motivate you and are going to, encourage you to do well. I found out that the hard way, because, like I said, I was hanging around, friends that I thought were friends at the time. But once I started doing things that were good, like playing sports, getting good grades, going to school on time, they're like, well, where are you going to school on time? Let's go kick it. Let's go do this. And it's like, well, no, it's like, but just do what makes you happy, and don't worry. I know we think, oh my God, what is my friends going to think if I don't go out with them, or if I do this instead? So what? Do you want to be where they're at all the time, or do you want to be successful? I mean, it takes work, especially when you grow up around them and you're always around them, to say no to them. But if they don't see what you're seeing, then you really don't need to be around them. I mean, I have, they ask me how many friends do you have, and I can probably count them in one hand. I have a lot of acquaintances, but I have very few friends. And as you grow, you'll know you know how to separate that. Is it the ones that are encouraging you all the time when you do well, or is it the ones that are keeping you down when you're doing well? Or the ones that are telling you can't do. And those are the little things that you have to look at. But and you really can be what you want to be, and yeah, a lot of times it's going to be harder than you think. But if you want to be whatever it is that you want to be, putting the hard work, I mean, it's going to be rewarding. And I always say the longer you stay in school, the more money you're going to make. That's just plain and simple. I always tell that to my kids, and they're like, yeah, whatever. But it's like, really, you get a high school diploma now, it's really nothing. There's a lot of people that are without jobs that have masters, doctors sometimes, because just the way things are right now. I mean, you really, the longer you stay in school, the more money you'll make. And yeah, school's boring. I didn't like it. I wasn't the greatest student, but I realized that if I stay in school and I make something of myself, I'm going to make more money. And that was motivation in itself for me, was the money part. And it was the right way to get it, not the easy way, and the one that brings more consequences than anything. But just do what makes you happy.
Hi, my name is Neda Gonzalez.
Hi, my name is Jenny Camacho.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Hernandez.
Hi, my name is Cesar Gomez.